The lifetime of a dressage horse starts from birth, and it starts with the breeder who pours heart and soul into giving all dressage horses the very best care from day one to the day that they leave their home to go to their riders and take on their riding career and begin their dressage journey. We talked to Judith Davies of Hawtins Stud to find out more about the breeding process, to learn about conception, birth, and the early years of the dressage horse whilst they're having fun, making friends and growing up until the ages of 3 and 4 before they go on to being ridden dressage horses.
So once the mare's confirmed in foal, the mare is then basically like any other of the horses at this stage. They're just out in the fields. We feed supplements to make sure she has good nutrition through the gestation period. The feed increases in the last 3 months because most of the growth happens in the last 3 months of the pregnancy. And horses, typically, we look at a window when we're calculating due dates between 330 and 340 days. They can be earlier, they can be later. The foal is ready when the foal is ready. The foal determines the birth, basically, when it signals to the mare that it's ready to be born, and the last 24 hours are controlled by the mare. The foal then, when it's born, takes a bit of time to adjust to where it is, but the instinct is to get up fast, to drink, and the mares, even the maiden mares, are amazing. They know exactly what they're meant to do, and they help the foals, they encourage the foals into the right place. And we always make sure that the foals have drunk. The mares after birth, they've cleansed, so there are no issues with the mare, because it's important to remember about the mare in all the process as well. That the foal passes the meconium, which is the early stage droppings, which from when it's been inside the uterus, that it's standing, it's correct, that it's basically able to suckle and moving around. The important part in the process of when they're given birth, to make sure that everything is all right and the foal has all the care that it needs at that point. And then the next morning we always have a vet that comes and does what they call a newborn foal check, that just make sure that there's nothing that we've missed, or that there's just anything that we need to monitor going forward to make sure that everything is good with that foal. And normally we then will, in the next week, we will show the foal to our farrier, because obviously there's nothing to be done at that stage, but the farrier will monitor that horse, that foal, really all through its life then, that it's with us. So in the early days we can walk them up and we can see if there is anything we need to keep an eye out for, and it's just then in his vision, and then we check them frequently just to make sure they're all going in the right direction. We teach the horses the sort of, what our manners and what we want, manners that we want from them and what we expect from them, but they actually have to learn from each other as well how to be a horse and how to behave with each other. It's very important that foals are not on their own, that people always will have at least 2 foals, and you get the groups of foals and you see them learning how to engage with each other, and it carries on through the different age groups. We keep our horses together in age groups, not sex groups, and they stay together then as groups right through being 4 years of age, and they all have their pecking order, they have their friends, and it's just very important that they get time to be horses. But it is all about that early start, through nutrition, through handling, through training, through all the other care that they need, that actually sets them in the right place to begin their career as a sports horse. A wealth of things that goes into bringing up the young horses. Most of it involves spending a large amount of time with their friends, having a nice time in the fields or in the barns in the winter. But within that time, it's giving them appropriate education so that they start to learn about life and what we expect from them in a way that they can get time to understand, and we can ensure that they have their teeth looked at, their feet looked at, and they're used to all of that. Because if they actually find all those things easy to deal with and relate with, then everything else we do going forward is giving them an easy start. And so, we do work with the 3-year-olds, and we're just doing work to educate them to make them understand things or help them understand things, and to learn about what we want to do going forward. And so it's a trickle feed over time, rather than waiting, say, to their 5-year-olds and then grab them from the field. They don't know, what's going on. It's all a big shock. Everything is just little by little, incremental. And they're very curious animals. Their horses generally they're fascinators. You go in the field, you get mobbed. We don't give them treats or anything like that. They just love to interact with you. They love people. And so we try to build on that to help with their learning, so that they find it an easy and a pleasant experience. There's an awful lot of in-hand work that we do with the horses as well. It's not just riding the horses. So we're trying to turn them into young, happy athletes. It's an incredibly rewarding experience. It's a very hard life, I have to say. It's not an easy option, but it's very humbling as well to work with these amazing creatures, to get their trust, and to be able to produce horses that can go on to do well in the sport. And we've been incredibly fortunate to have horses that have gone on, again, with all the right training and support and riding that have gone with that, to go on and compete at the highest levels. And that is very satisfying, and it's fantastic. But it's also wonderful to produce horses that have found their perfect home with someone who is just very happy to open their curtains in the morning and see their horse waiting for them to come out and come and get them and feed them and care for them and ride them and have a lovely time at a local show. And I love all aspects of that. We just want our horses to go to good homes where they're happy and they do well in whatever context. So we can have top international riders with our horses, and just very happy amateurs that are very happy with the horses they have, and they have a great life. And I love the fact that so many people keep in touch and we share the stories, and it's a big family. Without any horses, we can't have any riders. Riders have nothing to ride, trainers have nothing to train. So we're just the first step in the process. So it's a big jigsaw puzzle where everybody is important. So it's very important that breeders are breeding quality horses that are sound, healthy horses that are fit for the job that we want them to do. But that's the starting point then. And then beyond that, it's their education going forward. So it's all the people that are involved with starting the young horses, training them, the groundwork, the riding. So as the horse gets older, more people come into that community. The riders, the trainers, the dentists, the farriers, everybody, it's all one big puzzle, one big jigsaw that makes for the top athletes and for happy athletes. It's, no one person is more important than the other. If you don't have successful breeders that are well supported, you're not going to have quality animals. But you need good riders that are trained well to also then let those horses achieve their potential. So it's the whole picture, and no one part is more important than the other. It's important that they all come together to create that whole picture for the health and the welfare and the longevity and the success of the horse in the sport.